Who's that? Who's that? What you want?
Police. We've had some complaints about con men pretending to be blind and crippled.
I can see! I can see! I have legs! Oh, shit, look at this! Man, I can walk! Jesus! Praise Jesus!
Eddie Murphy's funniest moments that changed comedy forever. The suit he wore for 3 days. In 1982, a 21-year-old walked onto Johnny Carson's stage in a suit he had been wearing for 3 days straight.
You welcome Eddie Murphy. Eddie.
Thank you. Shut up.
Not because he had to, because he liked it that much.
Al, this is nice, California. I've been out in here for about 3 days. If anybody see me walking around, I have to explain. I had the same suit on for 3 days because I like this suit. I bought it from the catalog, and I enjoy it.
He told the whole country about it, grinning like it was the most normal thing in the world. Within 2 minutes, a room full of grown adults was laughing so hard they forgot he was barely old enough to buy a drink. That kid was Eddie Murphy. And here's the part most people never stop to think about. That kid was Eddie Murphy. And the remarkable part was not simply how quickly he got the laughs, it was how many different people seemed to appear inside him before the audience had time to settle.
You know how most people name after their father? Me and Farina was named after our father's favorite breakfast. Buckwheat San Farina. My mama named all the kids after cereal, man. That's my little sister over there. Her name's Shredded Wheat. Yeah, and those are my twin brothers over there, Quisp and Quake, right there. And that's my littlest brother right there. He's a little slower than everybody else. His name is Special K.
The suit became a catalog model.
You ever see those guys modeling clothes in catalog? Ever see those guys doing the same thing in their suit? Every time I put on a suit, I gotta go like this. I was just outside, standing in the front going.
A passing thought became a talking car.
But I bought my car from like a black dealer, so it got a different rhythm to it. You leave your lights on, the car say, "Hey man, you left your lights on." I said the lights is on, man. Damn, what, you blind and deaf?
A campaign joke became a president to crowd, and the hecklers shouting from the back of the room.
It's still a risky business to be the first black president. You know, you have to give speeches like this. My fellow Americans, as the president up here, we the people must get together and join hands. Oh, you watch these people over there? I don't think they're too happy about this. He won't stand still. The black dude in the back going, "Hey, that ain't funny."
Eddie did not build the routine one punchline at a time. He kept opening doors, and every time, another character walked through. Johnny Carson's stage had been designed to frame a performer. That night, the frame had to chase one. The cameras were no longer recording a young comedian calmly delivering material. They were trying to keep up with a face, a voice, and a body that could change the meaning of a joke before the previous laugh had finished. That is the difference this story is really about. Not noise, not movement for its own sake. Transformation. Eddie Murphy could begin a sentence as himself and finish it as somebody the room had never met before. So over the next half hour, I'm going to show you the moments that prove it. The bit that broke Mike Tyson live in front of a crowd.
The producers of the show was hoping you'd have a little more feeling of more Mike, a little bit more Mike Tyson, more Mike Tysonism, like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, Sammy and I would like.
The scene where one man played an entire family arguing at the dinner table.
You know I can go all night. Fuck, I hope you fought to your asshole falls out. Oh, my baby, too. Oh, now, see what you made me do? God damn it, I messed up my thing. Damn, Dad, you gotta clean them yourself, you rock.
The hustle that left a whole movie theater of people in pieces.
Who's that? Who's that? What you want?
Police. We've had some complaints about con men pretending to be blind and crippled.
can see! I can see! I have legs! Oh, shit, look at this! Man, I can walk! Jesus! Praise Jesus!
Each one is funny on its own, but there is a single thread running through every last one of them. And by the end, I will show you the one thing Eddie did in every single performance, the thing nobody before him could do, the thing that quietly changed comedy forever. Most people have watched these clips 100 times and never once noticed it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It starts in 1982 with that suit. 1982. The night a kid predicted the future. By 1982, Johnny Carson had seen every kind of nervous newcomer. He knew how to rescue a weak story, calm a frightened guest, and tell within seconds whether somebody belonged beneath those lights. Eddie Murphy gave him a different problem. There was nothing to rescue. 3 days into his first trip to California, the 21-year-old walked out with the loose confidence of someone who had already decided that the room would meet him on his terms. He told the audience to quiet down, laughed at the size of their reaction, and then began with the suit he was wearing. The observation itself was simple. Men modeling clothes in catalogs always looked strangely pleased with themselves. The underwear models looked even happier, which Eddie found deeply suspicious.
Anybody ever see those guys that model their underwear in these books? And they smile while they're doing it, they stand out there going. Did you notice these guys never have no bulge? Did you ever check that out?
But instead of explaining what made the photographs ridiculous, he reconstructed one. The shoulders locked. The grin froze. The body became unnaturally proud of a pair of underwear no normal man would be that excited to wear.
If I didn't have no bulge, I would not be modeling no underwear. Okay? And second of all, I damn sure wouldn't be smiling. I might be modeling like this.
For a few seconds, the suit was no longer just clothing. It became scenery, costume, and punchline at the same time. And that was the first clue to what Eddie could do. He could take something ordinary, find the human behavior hiding inside it, and give that behavior a body. Then he did a bit that sounds impossible now. He talked about the cartoon character Buckwheat, the one he played on Saturday Night Live.
You know, Johnny said something about buckwheat a little earlier. He was talking about buckwheat. And I did buckwheat on my show, right? And the name buckwheat, I started thinking, right? I'm from a predominantly black family. And I have yet to run into a relative named Buckwheat at a cookout, you know? You can't just walk off the streets and walk up to somebody and say, hey, how you doing? My name's Tom, what's yours? Oh, my name's Buckwheat, man, nice to meet you. Yeah, Buckwheat, that's my name.
And spun off into a whole imaginary family with breakfast cereal names. A sister named Shredded Wheat, twin brothers, a slow cousin named Special K. The whole thing built and built, each name funnier than the last, all of it invented on the spot in his head.
That's my big sister. She a prostitute. Her name is Trix. Stand next to her is my big brother. He's homosexual. His name is Lucky Charms.
And then came the moment that should give you chills.
I'm gonna quit show business. Making my announcement. I'm gonna become a Secret Service man. It's the truth. Because they have no black Secret Service men. And we would make better Secret Service men than white people, truthfully. Because we're more menacing. We are. See, we have a different rhythm to us. We see somebody that looks suspicious, we just walk over to the guy and say, excuse me, man, you crowding Mr. President.
This kid, on national television in 1982, looked into the camera and announced he was going to run for president because, as he put it, America had not had a black president lately. The crowd laughed, because in 1982, the idea was a punchline. So Eddie gave them a fake campaign speech, playing the candidate, the crowd, and a heckler in the back, all at once. My fellow Americans, he began, before turning to point at an imaginary man and snapping, "Hey, that ain't funny." Sit with that for a second. 26 years later, a black man stood on the steps of the Capitol and took the oath of office. What was a joke when Eddie said it became the news while he was still alive to see it. He was not just being funny. He was reading the future and making it laugh on the way in. But stand-up was only the warm-up. Watch what happens when you hand this man a movie camera and ask him to play more than one person at the same time.
You know I can go all night.
Fuck, I hope you fought to your asshole falls out.
Oh, my baby, too. Oh, now, see what you made me do? God damn it, I messed up my pants. Damn, Daddy. You got to clean them yourself, you rock.
One man, one table, an entire family. By the middle of the 1990s, Eddie had a problem most performers would kill for. He could do too much. So, a movie called The Nutty Professor handed him the perfect challenge. Play a shy, kind, overweight scientist named Sherman Klump. And then, while you were at it, play his entire family.
Oh, this is so fabulous. Ain't nothing like getting together with family and having a good meal. Oh, please take this bowl. It's hot.
I am hungry.
God damn, Sherman, it's almost like we don't see your ass no more. Good to see you, son.
Yeah, Sherman, you think you through Joe College good to spend a little time with your family every now and then?
Well, I've been real busy with my research,
I don't want no potato. You know mashed potatoes give me gas.
The scene everyone remembers is a family dinner. Around one table, you have the grandmother, the mother, the father, Sherman himself, and a loud little boy. 5 people, 1 actor. And here is the thing that makes it a small miracle. There is no trick where the camera cuts away so Eddie can run off and change. He is arguing with himself, interrupting himself, laughing at his own jokes, all in different voices, different postures, different rhythms.
Well, Daddy, all the calories in the chicken are found in the skin and in the fat, so I peel it off. What you talking about? That's where all the fats and calories is. You know where that comes from? Watching that damn TV. Every time you turn it on, they got somebody in there talking about lose weight, get healthy, get in shape. Get everybody looking all anorexic, talking about that's healthy. I know what healthy is. And tell you something else. I don't know why everybody trying to lose weight in the first place. Ain't everybody supposed to be the same size. We're supposed to be all different. Big, small, medium, midget. You're supposed to have all of that.
Picture a man holding a conversation between 5 puppets, except there are no puppets. Just him and a makeup chair he sat in for hours, and a brain fast enough to keep 5 separate people alive at once. The grandfather grumbles about the old days. The mother frets. The grandmother fires off lines so blunt the table goes quiet.
Got a tall, young, strong gentleman named Stedman, so handsome. He's my favorite out of all of them. Jenny Jones, Marilyn Kagan, Maury Povich, Lattimore, Leno, Montel, Ricky Lake.
I like Gerardo.
Mike Douglas. Oh, Mike Douglas. You know, Mike Douglas used to make me. When I watch the show, I don't get points.
And the whole thing keeps tipping over into chaos because, well...
You know what your problem is? It don't work out. Got exercise. Look at me. That's all muscle.
Oh.
You fat, I'm muscle. But I
Oh,
work
look at my
out.
little Bill. He's a little Hercules. Show me muscle again. Oh, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules,
What'd you work out?
Hercules, Hercules.
It is a family, and families at dinner are loud, and somebody always says the thing they should not. What is genuinely special here is how separate the 5 of them feel. You are not watching 5 copies of Eddie Murphy in different wigs. You are watching 5 people who have known each other their whole lives and clearly drive each other a little crazy. The father has his own way of leaning back in his chair.
And I don't know what it is. Everybody want to be the same size. Like that Oprah Winfrey. She gonna lose her weight. Wasn't nothing wrong with her. She was fine. Oprah was a fox. She lose all that weight. Her head look all big, skin hanging all off her, and Luther Vandross. Nigga used to be the Black Pavarotti. Lost all that weight looking all ashy. Oprah and Luther need to keep their ass one weight, because I'm confused.
The grandmother has her own way of cutting someone down with a single sentence and then smiling like nothing happened. If you closed your eyes, you would swear it was a whole cast. That is the move that separates Eddie from a great impressionist. An impressionist gives you a voice. Eddie gives you a person with a history, a mood, and a way of taking up space in a room.
And the recent studies have shown that certain people are genetically predisposed to gaining weight. Someday in the near future, we might even find a cure. Only thing you need to study is your ass. I got a big ass. Your mama got a big ass. Peter, you do have a big ass. Don't tell me nothing. Your ass is as big in our family. So you need to get used to that. And I don't care what diet you go on, you can sew up your stomach and your asshole, you're gonna always be fat. Daddy, all I'm trying to say is that scientific breakthroughs are occurring all the time. And the only thing about to break through is your ass about to break through the seat of your pants.
He found the small things, the way a tired old man sighs, the way a proud mother folds her hands, and he wore them like a coat. Playing 5 people at a dinner table is hard enough, but playing one man who is blind and then suddenly is not, with a straight face, in front of 2 police officers while never breaking, is a different kind of skill entirely. And he pulled it off years earlier when he was barely out of his teens.
Yeah, it was real hush-hush. I was Agent Orange. That was my name, Agent Orange. Special Agent Orange. That was me.
Airborne, huh?
I can see! I can see! I have legs! I have oh shit! Look at this! Man! I can walk! Jesus! Praise Jesus!
The blind man who could suddenly see. Go back to 1983 to a film called Trading Places. Eddie plays a fast-talking street hustler named Billy Ray Valentine. In one early scene, he is working a sidewalk con. He is pretending to be blind. And not just blind, he is pretending to have lost both his legs in the war, sitting on a little cart asking passing strangers for help. It is already a lot. Then 2 police officers walk up, and they have seen this man before. They know he can see perfectly well, and they know he has 2 working legs.
Police, we've had some complaints about con men pretending to be blind and crippled.
Oh, I'd love to help you, man, but I ain't seen nothing since I stepped on that landmine in Viet Cong back in '72. It was rough, very painful.
You were in Nam? So were we. Where?
I was in Sang Bang, Dangang. I was all over that place, basically, a lot of places.
What unit were you in?
Most performers would play the panic, the "oh no, I'm caught" face. Eddie does the opposite. He doubles down. When the officers force him to stand, his legs work fine. And instead of admitting the con, he gasps like a man witnessing a miracle. "I can see," he cries, staring at his own hands as if the heavens just gave them back to him. "I can see. I can walk." 2 miracles for the price of 1, performed for an audience of 2 annoyed cops who are not buying a word of it. Here is the lesson buried in that scene, and it is the engine of everything Eddie ever did. He never breaks. He never lets the character notice the trap. When something goes wrong, he does not stop. He escalates.
I can walk! Jesus! Praise Jesus! I appreciate this. Oh, this is beautiful. I can't believe. Thank you. I don't know what to do. Glory be to God. Praise Jesus. Look at me. This is too much. I can't believe it. I am beautiful. Listen, I can't thank you first. Moses, now this. God, Jesus. Oh, thank you. Look at me.
The con falling apart is not a problem for Billy Ray Valentine. It is a fresh opportunity to perform an even bigger lie. The faster the floor disappears under him, the faster his mouth moves to build a new one. That is also why he was so easy to root for, even playing a con artist. He commits so completely, with so much joy, that you stop caring whether he is telling the truth. You just want to see how far he can take it. You lean in. You think, surely now he has to give up. And he never does. He treats getting caught the way a jazz musician treats a wrong note, as something to build on, not something to apologize for. That instinct to commit harder when things get shaky made him dangerous in scenes, but it made him truly unbeatable somewhere else. Not on a movie set where you get another take. In a live room with no script, with the person he was impersonating sitting right there, watching, with a microphone in their hand. That is where the next moment happens, and it might be the funniest thing on this list.
Sammy, you are truly the undefeated champion.
The producers of the show was hoping you'd have a little more feeling, more Mike, a little bit more Mike Tyson, more Mike Tysonisms, like, hello, ladies and gentlemen.
The day he broke Mike Tyson. A live tribute show is supposed to run like clockwork. Someone reads off a card, the crowd claps, the next person comes out. Polite, predictable. Then you hand Eddie Murphy a microphone, and clockwork goes out the window. At a tribute honoring the legendary entertainer Sammy Davis Jr., the boxer Mike Tyson was on stage to read a few lines.
Okay. Stay tuned for more of the Sammy Davis Jr. tribute, honoring the one heavyweight I would never dare step into the ring with. Sammy, you're a true undefeated champ.
Wait. I think Mike can do a little better than that. Mike?
Simple lines, the kind written for a teleprompter. But Eddie, standing nearby, decided the reading was not quite right. So he asked Tyson to do it again. The producers, Eddie explained with a perfectly straight face, were hoping for a little more Tysonism, a little more Mike in it.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to read this. This may be disastrous. Okay. Stay tuned for more of the Sammy Davis Jr. tribute, honoring the one heavyweight I would never dare step into the ring with. Sammy, you are truly the undefeated champion.
Now think about what is actually happening here. One of the most feared men on the planet, a heavyweight champion, is being gently directed in front of a crowd by a comedian who is barely holding back a grin. And Tyson goes along with it. He tries again. And Eddie, instead of letting it go, slips into a Tyson impression himself, that soft, high, unmistakable voice coming out of the wrong body, showing the champ how it is supposed to sound. The room loses it. And the most important detail is this: Tyson loses it too. He is laughing at himself because Eddie did not insult him. He did something stranger and far more disarming. He became him. So completely, so affectionately, that the only sane response was to laugh. He did the same trick with the boxer Muhammad Ali doing that famous brag the promise to shock the world and beat everybody, in a voice so dead on that for a few seconds it was like Ali himself had walked into the room. Two boxing legends, and Eddie wore both of them like masks he could swap in real time. And here is the thread I promised you in the very beginning. Hold on to it, because everything after this depends on it. Eddie did not make fun of Mike Tyson. He did not stand back and mock him from a safe distance. He stepped inside him. He became Mike Tyson so thoroughly that Mike Tyson laughed. That is the move, not mockery, transformation. The difference sounds small, but it is the whole reason a kid from Brooklyn rewired American comedy. Most comics point at a person and say, "Look how funny this person is." Eddie disappears into the person and lets them be funny from the inside. Once you understand that, you start seeing it everywhere. In his movies, on his old television sketches, in the stories he tells to this day. He was never doing impressions. He was doing people. Let me show you exactly what I mean.
Speaking of family, Darius and Tracy, y'all seem like y'all might be related.
Well, James L. Jones is my biological father. James L. Jones impregnated my mother on the set of Claudine on Edgecombe Avenue in Harlem. You know what? I think we might be related.
I don't see it.
He didn't do impressions. He did people. Most impressionists work from the outside in. They grab the obvious stuff, the famous catchphrase, the funny walk, and they wave it around. It gets a laugh, but it stays on the surface. Eddie worked the other way. He started with the smallest, truest detail, the thing nobody else noticed, and built the person out from there. Take his Michael Jackson. The two of them were actually friends, which is why Eddie's version was never mean.
You used to make fun of Michael on Saturday Night Live. Did you, when you met him, did you meet him before you would make fun of him?
Well, if you look at the stuff that I did on Michael, it was never mean-spirited. It was always, funny stuff, because I knew him.
Right.
I never really made fun. I never made fun of him.
But you imitated him.
Yeah, but I wasn't making fun of him. He was Michael, and I was doing funny Michael stuff.
He tells a story about a night at Sammy Davis Jr.'s house where the stars would gather to watch movies. The room was packed, and Michael, famously shy, hid behind a door rather than walk in.
Maybe Michael Jackson would be there. He watched Cocoon there?
Mm-hmm. He was behind the door at first because there was too many people. There's too many people in the room. He was hiding behind the door. I said, Eddie, come on. And I went behind the door, and then we would stand behind the door, and I was like, what the There's so many people in there.
Eddie went and stood behind the door with him, the two of them tucked away from the crowd. That is the detail Eddie keeps. Not the moonwalk, not the glove, the shyness. The way the most famous man in the world would rather hide behind a door than be looked at. When Eddie does Michael, he is doing that. The softness, the nervousness, the quiet. He found the human being underneath the superstar. Or take the legendary actor James Earl Jones, the deep, booming voice behind so many famous films. Eddie tells a story where, with a perfectly even face, he claims James Earl Jones is secretly his biological father, that the two of them must be related. He delivers it like solemn family news, and the punchline is just 4 flat words back. I don't see it. The whole bit lives in the contrast, Eddie playing the seriousness, then puncturing it. Then there is his friend Tracy Morgan, the comedian, who has said for years that Eddie is his hero. On a sketch show, Eddie did an impression of Tracy, while the real Tracy sat right next to him. Imagine that for a moment. Your childhood idol, the reason you got into comedy, is sitting beside you, doing you, in front of a live audience. Tracy could not keep it together. Nobody could. Because again, it was not a takedown. It was a love letter, wearing a disguise. Eddie even tells a tender little story about Tracy that shows you how his mind works. He remembers that Tracy once came to his house, and Eddie made him a simple meal, ballpark franks, the cheap kind you grill in the backyard.
Tracy told me that he went to your house and you made him, as he said over and over again to me, ballpark franks.
He said, I went over there, he made me franks, ballpark franks.
Yeah, that's it.
That's why I'm gonna always be cool with Eddie, because he made me them franks.
And to this day, Tracy lights up about those franks, because to him, it meant his hero treated him like family. Eddie remembers that. The franks. The detail nobody would write down. That is the same eye that built every impression he ever did. This is the difference between copying and transforming. Anyone can learn a famous voice. Eddie learned the person, the worry behind the swagger, the kindness behind the fame, the one small habit that gives someone away. And here is the quiet truth that ties it together. It is very hard to be cruel to someone you have studied that closely. His comedy had teeth, but it almost never drew blood. He laughed with people far more than he laughed at them. That gift, the ability to fully become someone else, did not stay on a comedy stage. It walked straight into the movies and took over.
Well, look, Hoss, you start running a respectable business, and I won't have to come in here and hassle you every night. You know what I mean?
And I want the rest of you cowboys to know something. There's a new sheriff in town. And his name is Reggie Hammond. Y'all be cool. Right on.
Give him a camera, and the whole movie was his. Here is a fact that is hard to believe even when you say it out loud. Before Eddie Murphy turned 23 years old, he had 3 hit films. 3. While still doing a live television show every week. Most actors spend a decade hoping for one. His film debut was a buddy cop picture called 48 Hours, opposite the gruff veteran actor Nick Nolte. There is a scene in a bar full of people who clearly do not want him there, and instead of shrinking, Eddie takes over the entire room, turning their hostility back on them with nothing but his mouth and his nerve. He did not join the buddy cop genre. He set the template that the next 20 years of movies would copy. Then came Beverly Hills Cop, the film that proved he could carry a movie all by himself, as a street-smart Detroit cop named Axel Foley dropped into a fancy world that has no idea what to do with him. The best scenes are the ones where he talks his way past people who are paid to keep him out. He strolls up to an expensive hotel with no reservation and, in about 30 seconds, invents an entire story claiming to be a reporter there to interview Michael Jackson, spinning it so fast and so confidently that the clerk hands him a room.
I'm a small reporter from Rolling Stone magazine that's in town to do an exclusive interview with Michael Jackson. It's going to be picked up by every major magazine in the country. I was going to call the article, Michael Jackson is sitting on top of the world, but now I think I might as well just call it, Michael Jackson can sit on top of the world just as long as he doesn't sit in the Beverly Palm Hotel, because there's no niggas allowed in there.
Excuse me, sir. It seems that we do have a last-minute cancellation. There is a room available.
Later, he is the only one in a crowded place to notice a robbery about to happen, clocking a man in a heavy leather coat and quietly pointing out that it is June, a little warm for a coat like that.
Black jacket?
Yeah?
Well, it's June. Don't you think it's kind of hot for a long black leather coat?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I think it was parting over there. They just came in together. Something get ready to go down. Why don't you go over there and cover that guy for me?
The comedy and the cleverness were the same thing. His fast mouth was not a distraction from the hero. It was the hero. In Coming to America, he played a gentle, well-mannered African prince, calm and charming, the exact opposite of his loud early characters, and proved he could disappear into softness just as easily as swagger. And of course, there is the role that introduced him to an entirely new generation, a generation that had no idea he had ever held a microphone. He voiced the donkey in Shrek, that motor-mouthed, big-hearted sidekick who never stops talking. Children who could not have named a single one of his stand-up bits could quote the donkey by heart. Stack it all up and look at the range. A street hustler, a big city cop, a polite prince, a shy scientist and his whole family.
So, Carla, do you like children?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. I can't wait for Sherman to bring me home some grandbabies.
Yeah, I know you're gonna enjoy making them babies. Got them childbearing hips. Baby pop right out.
Your family got any money? I ain't paying for no big-ass wedding.
A talking donkey. Sketch characters your parents quoted for years. That is not one career. That is 5 or 6 careers stuffed into one person, all powered by the same engine you have been watching this whole time. The refusal to be just one thing. The joy of becoming somebody new. Now, you might assume a man with all that behind him would slow down, coast, let the legend do the work. And here is where the story turns into the part the 4-minute clip reels always leave out.
You're going to do it. It's going to be fun. You're going to be triplets. And it's going to be the 3 of us. And we all look different. And Danny's little. I'm big and you're the black one. You know. I was like, but wait a second, y'all a little older than me. How are you gonna be triplets if y'all, 20 years old? We work it out. We figure it out sometime.
Still the fastest man in the room. Most performers have a peak, and then they spend the rest of their lives a step or two behind it. The speed fades. The timing softens. They become a warm memory of the thing they used to be. So you would expect that of Eddie, too. You would be wrong. Listen to a story he has told in recent years, decades after that Carson stage, about the actor and former bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold had once made a comedy called Twins, and he wanted to make another film, an even more absurd one, where he, the small comedian Danny DeVito, and Eddie would all play triplets. Eddie, telling this story, slides into a flawless Arnold impression to act out the pitch. In that thick accent, he plays Arnold explaining the plan. It will be triplets, and Danny is little, and Arnold is big, and Eddie is the black one, and it will all be different, and somehow it will work. The logic falls apart the second you say it out loud, which is the joke, and Eddie plays both himself baffled and Arnold completely unbothered, insisting they will figure it out. He even tells a version where the Arnold character snaps, Don't tell me to calm down. And the room comes undone all over again. Now notice the date on that. This is not a young man. This is a performer who has been famous longer than most people watching have been alive, and he can still walk into a room and take it apart just by becoming someone else for 30 seconds. The speed that terrified a generation of comics in 1982 never left him. He simply stopped needing a stage to prove it. He keeps it in his back pocket now and pulls it out at dinner. And the world has finally circled back to say thank you. In November of 2025, Netflix released a documentary called Being Eddie, where, for the first time, he sat in his own living room and talked about his life as himself, not as a character.
Eddie never stops creating. I want to show them that I'm not like anybody in this town. I'm everybody in the scene and everything in between.
He amplified black talent.
He changed the world. Not just American culture, he changed the world.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
One of the greatest ever.
And in April of 2026, the American Film Institute gave him its highest honor, the Life Achievement Award, the same prize given to the giants of film history.
I wish y'all could feel what I'm feeling and see what I'm seeing. It's just I've been moved by tonight. But yeah, I'd like to thank everybody for giving me this night that I will remember forever and ever and ever. I almost teared up.
The man who handed it to him on stage was the director, Spike Lee. The room was full of the comedians who grew up worshiping him, and one by one, they admitted the truth. They had all been chasing him for 40 years. That is the reframe I want you to carry out of this video. We call these his funniest moments, like they are scattered, like they are just a highlight reel of a man who happened to be good at jokes. They are not scattered. They are the same act performed over and over for half a century. The kid in the borrowed-looking suit and the legend holding the Lifetime Award are doing the exact same thing, refusing to stand still, refusing to be only one person. There is one last story I want to leave you with, a small one, because the smallest stories are usually where the truth hides. The hubcaps and the last word. On a late-night show years ago, Eddie casually confessed to a crime. When he was young and brand new on Saturday Night Live, he had a nice car with nice hubcaps, and he had to park it near the train station to get into the city. One night he came back, and his hubcaps were gone, stolen. So Eddie, by his own admission, simply took someone else's hubcaps to replace them. The host laughed, a little shocked, and Eddie just shrugged and added the perfect detail. By then, he was already on television. He was already becoming famous, popping hubcaps off cars in a parking lot.
The first year at SNL, I would still steal. I remember I came back from the Long Island Railroad and I had parked my car there and somebody had stole my hubcaps. I just stole somebody else's hubcaps. And I was literally on the show and I was like, take it from me.
It is a tiny story, and that is exactly why it matters. It reminds you that behind all the characters, behind the prince and the cop and the talking donkey and the family at the dinner table, there was a regular kid from Brooklyn who got his hubcaps stolen and got a little revenge. The same kid who told the country about the suit he had worn for 3 days. He never lost that. The fame never sanded him down into something polished and careful. He stayed funny, the way real people are funny, with stories, with mischief, with a grin that says he knows exactly what he is doing. So let me give you the thread one last time, now that you have seen the whole picture. Eddie Murphy changed comedy by refusing to stay one person. So let me give you the thread one last time, now that you have seen the whole picture. Eddie Murphy changed comedy by making transformation part of the joke itself. A shoulder could introduce one person, a voice could replace him with another. One glance could complete the change before the audience had even caught up. Carson. Saturday Night Live, the blockbusters, the animated characters your grandchildren still quote, the impressions that made even their targets laugh. All of them came from the same instinct. Do not merely copy the recognizable surface. Find the one small human truth underneath it and build the whole person from there. Comedy is still trying to catch up to a kid in a 3-day-old suit. Now, I want to hear from you, because there is no wrong answer, only a good argument. Which Eddie is the real one? The 21-year-old who walked onto Carson's stage and quietly made an entire generation of comics look like the past, or the 65-year-old legend who can still break a room just by opening his mouth? Tell me in the comments which one you would pick, and which moment from this video made you laugh the hardest. I read every single one. And if a story about Eddie ever made you smile, do this. Pick one person who grew up watching him and send them this video tonight. Some legends you are supposed to talk about. Eddie Murphy is one you are supposed to share.